To questions, and I had a question here from a chap. Hi Devraj, big fan of your work. I just want to ask a random question as I'm looking at potentially heading into a 10-day silent retreat, Vipassana. What's your view on these types of retreats? Another great question. Okay, so first thing, I've never done a 10-day Vipassana retreat myself. Vipassana is just basically silent sitting, mostly sometimes focusing on an aspect of your breathing. And in a classic kind of 10-day retreat, what I know is that they usually do 10 hours a day of this sitting for 10 days in a row. And that's the retreat essentially. I've never done one, but because I was in the sort of spiritual scene for many, many years, I knew a lot of people who would go on these retreats. And, and I think they're basically good things, so I wouldn't have too much concern about doing a 10-day Vipassana retreat. Obviously, it's going to be a pretty intense experience. And maybe very challenging, but you could get a lot of awareness about your own mind and what goes on habitually, and it could be a really, really, really powerful experience. Now, from my own experience, I've got a couple of caveats to that, which is if you are quite strongly in the leaving pattern, which means that like you're aware that you spend a lot of time in your mind thinking about life and yourself and stuff, and it's harder for you to access the experience of the body, then Vipassana may not be for you. In the sense that it may just send you even more totally into the head, and your neck kind of locks, your throat locks, and you just can't. It's even harder to get back into the body. That sometimes happens for people, and in very, very extreme cases, and this is rare, but it does definitely happen. People can even have psychotic episodes because what happens is there's more, the constraint that the retreat is providing, the lack of escape, which is a standard thing. It's like you block off some of the back doors that we develop to escape from feelings. That stuff you can't do, you can't escape, and there can be rising sensation from the body, and the nervous system may simply come in. It's entirely not the person's fault, and direct you completely into the mind, and you can't get back down. And you just go off into some completely strange world somewhere where reality is a bit different. So this is one caveat if you're very strongly in the leaving pattern. The other thing for leaving pattern people, which is far more common, is that they just spend tons of time just thinking and thinking even more extremely than before. I had a friend who told me that she planned out, like, I don't know, a whole year's worth of content whilst doing the 10-day retreat that she was on. And at some point, one of the monks or guides came round and explained that this really wasn't the kind of idea, and that you were supposed to be just kind of going into a state more of meditation. So, just understand that. I think, it's like it is a deep, intense process. Make sure that you're ready. For many years, when I was living in spiritual community, like I'd never done a 10-day retreat. I'd done Vipassana, and I'd done a lot of awareness intensive stuff, but never a 10-day retreat. And I often used to think, well, I really should do a 10-day retreat because that would, break through stuff and I would get more awareness. And there's validity in thinking like this, in pushing yourself a bit. But at the same time, you do need to be clear that you can stay in your body, I think, when you do a retreat like this, and then you can really get the benefit from it. So that's my opinion. Thank you very much for tuning in. And if you have questions, please do ask them in my Telegram support group, the link for which you can find on my YouTube channel in the description of all the videos. Thank you.